Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. So, is there an Epstein client list or is not? Well, why, if not, as Mr. Kash Patel and Mr. Bongino, Dan Bongino, the first guy from FBI and the second in command of FBI, told us there's no such a thing of Epstein's client list, and by the way, he killed himself. We saw all the evidence. Then if that is true, remember, they represent the US government, an institution which is FBI. Okay, that is some people can call it a repressive or suppressive institutions, but hey, Federal Bureau of Investigation, they investigate, man, and there's no corruption over there. So according to them, there is the government who never lies. There's no client list. Epstein did not have one. End the story. Go home and watch something and consume. But then why do we have people, some people, I will name two, who constantly come and talk about the Epstein list and the names? They must have seen the list. So there is a list. Is it? I don't know. But we have this guy who, so far, I did not catch him lie, and there is Elon Musk. Elon Musk comes and says that there is a list. He said it consistently. And not only there is a list, but according to this statement that he made, implies that he saw the list. Russia Today, August 2nd, 2025. Musk claims major US Democrats in Epstein documents. Even Donald Trump's rivals would keep files related to the disgraced financier sealed, the ex-owner has said. Senior member of the US Democratic Party and their benefactors could be listed in the Epstein documents, ex-owner Elon Musk has said. On Friday, Bloomberg responded that FBI agents reviewing the files on the convicted sex offender and financier Jeffrey Epstein had identified numerous references to US President Donald Trump, as well as dozens of other high-profile figures. The agency stressed that the appearance of any name is not evidence of a crime or even a suggestion of wrongdoing. That is correct. That is correct. But you're not in defending, you are in finding out, FBI. The agency's role is to find out, not to confirm or deny a narrative. You just go over there and investigate. And based on the evidence that you accumulated, gathered during the investigation, objective, all right, you bring it back, and wherever the chips may fall, they may fall. And then we grab them and we put them in front of a judge and we give them the chance to defend themselves and let it be beyond any reasonable doubt. Correct? Correct. That's the way it's supposed to. But they don't allow us to even get to that point. Why is that? And we are all conspiracy theorists for that. All right. Responding to the report, the ex-user suggested that when a Democrat becomes president, they'll unredact these names. Musk, however, did not agree, saying they won't because major Democrats and their donors are on the list too. The names. Where's the names? He did not offer any evidence or elaborate. So don't you think that he should be, asked, hey, what are you talking about? Right there. Alan Dershowitz, Epstein's former lawyer, has named two Democrats, former Senator George Mitchell, and former UN Ambassador Bill Richardson, as appearing in the documents, stressing that alone did not indicate any wrongdoing. That's correct. Correct. In June, Musk, who had falling out with Trump over his legislative agenda, claimed that the president was in the Epstein files, suggesting that is the real reason they have not been made public, he said. So what do you think, my friends? Right here. On the campaign trail, Trump pledged to release all documents released to Epstein if elected. However, in 2025, the U.S. authorities concluded that Epstein did not keep so-called client list that could implicate high-profile associates, sparking widespread public uproar. Now the question is, you see, they switched from client list to documents and files. Did you notice that? They are talking about the documents and the files, but they don't talk about a client list anymore. So euphemisms are always a way to hide a harsher reality or something that's close to reality. For instance, I didn't smack you, I caressed you, or how should I put it? I put pressure on you. What kind of pressure? I don't know, with my cock or something. That's the way these guys are doing it. Is there a client list? What do you think? I think we deserve the right to see if there's one. And more than that, I would like to know who, if Mr. Epstein worked for. And I suspect that he works for foreign interests, not for himself. He doesn't have to work for the Americans, but I don't think he worked for himself. I think he worked for outside interests. That's my gut feeling. Do I have any evidence? No. But as a free person, I can make a fool of myself how much I want. So these guys consistently talk about the client list. Even Elon Musk said in January 2025, after President Trump was elected, said that the client list, Epstein client list, will be made public. They talked about it until about, a month and a half ago when Mr. Kash Patel and Dan Bongino said, no, there's no such a thing. And I believe them. Why? Because they work for FBI? That's a reason, an extra reason not to believe them at all. At all. I think if you are, I don't know, I don't want to go on Dan Bongino, but I think at one point when you see certain things, you have a choice. Am I going to sacrifice my life, or I'm going to be part of this, whatever I saw is going on? I think a lot of people have a lot of information about JFK assassination. That is, a lot of people I think have, and they don't talk about the Shiram killing of Robert Kennedy in California, in the hotel, in the kitchen, remember? Nothing. There were, I don't know, like 9 rounds all over the place, but the guy shot, I don't know, his pistol and so on. So my friends, or revolver, whatever he used, I can't remember exactly. So I think it was a revolver, but anyway, I think it was. So anyway, my friends, I would like to know, and supposedly we live in the freest country on this planet. Why? Because probably if, that's my gut feeling, probably if this information will be released, we're going to find out we live in a big oligarchy here. That's what I think we live in. I think there's a group of people, not necessarily Americans, who are really much controlling not only the American like, as a country, I think the global. But they use the strongest like they used to use the kings. Lend money to the king, and therefore you own the king. And the only thing the king could have done is just ban them from his kingdom when he didn't want to pay. But then the next king brought them back. So when the king did not have money, he got money again. So that's a way of controlling a government with money. Even though you potentially have the power, why do you need to be controlled like that as a government? It means you are an inefficient, corrupt government. Because if you are a self-sufficient government and have a self-sufficient economy, you don't need all this Federal Reserve to set your interest among banks. Federal Reserve is a private bank. It's not the Federal Reserve, it's a private bank. All right? So, and not only that, you don't need these guys. You don't need to have these guys print money like crazy and devaluate your currency and so on. If you are self-sufficient, if your economy is booming, you don't have to have, 135% debt to whomever, we don't even know exactly to whom, from our GDP. That's how it is. You make $100,000 a year, but you have a loan of $135,000. And you get more and more loans. That means you have a problem. You have a deficit somewhere. And instead of solving the deficit, you borrow money. You perpetuate the garbage that you are in. The same with the information here. I would like to know who's who, what's what, but the problem is we're going to find out and we put it straight people will realize that they live in a big lie, I guess, and certain people will go to church more often, ask for help or something, instead of solving the problem that could be solved. Well, I know, pray for the second coming and solve the problem, but he probably is going to start with the Vatican, just to say, that's my friends, Vatican, yes, the Vatican, yeah, not only the Vatican, there's many people who are wolves in sheep clothes, one expression that they like a lot to use in church. There are many like that. So I'm still surprised that they allow Elon Musk to say certain things like this. Alan Dershowitz was another one who said that, yeah, I know they are on the client list and so on. That means he saw the client list. But somehow we're told by Dan Bongino and Kash Patel there's no. And both of them, if you look at them, they're all googly eyes. Like, oh, look, it's just funny. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.